I decided to start Matanya's Hope after going to Africa in 2005 for my dad's 70th birthday. During a part of our safari, or journey in Kenya, we went to a school called Matanya Primary School. And it was there that I saw 250 of the most beautiful children without shoes, in torn and tattered clothing, who were obviously very, very hungry. And the children were sleeping at home on dirt floors, sometimes with a plastic sheet underneath them, no mattress, no blanket. They were cold and hungry, and it did bother them. I identified the most prominent need as education, because if we can educate these children, if we can give them that gift, then they can escape the cycle of poverty that they themselves know and their parents and grandparents knew all their lives. But aside from that, what I discovered is it's really difficult to educate a hungry, thirsty, or tired child. And so we decided to focus on bringing food to the communities, bringing ways for the communities to have their own livestock and clean water, so that these children have an opportunity to attend school with a fresh mind. The educational system in Kenya today has changed drastically by Kenya offering free education to the students. However, free education isn't always what it sounds like. The children who are living rurally are often very, very poor, and because of the state of their economic poverty, these children can't afford to eat, yet alone to buy a pencil, a uniform, books. Therefore, education is not free, and often the parents elect to keep these children home to weed the farm, sweep the house, and whatnot, and they deny the children a chance to be educated, period. Oftentimes, children in Kenya are bright, their parents support them going to school, but they can't afford things such as school supplies, they can't afford uniforms, and they can't afford school fees. Unfortunately, the schools generally lack enough compassion to keep that child in school, and they send them home. Now, for a primary age child, that simply means not allowing the child to return to school until they can afford their school fees. For a secondary age child, where the child is going to boarding school, that means sending the child home, oftentimes sending them walking 3 hours, 4 hours, all day long. And again, like I said, the school has no compassion. That child sent packing.
I think the biggest challenge is, I would start by saying, is poverty, followed by like education and infrastructure. But mainly, I would say poverty, because the big percentage of Kenya, they live below $1. So this is really a big challenge. For education, it will be a nightmare. So I think poverty will be the biggest, that I would say, the biggest challenge that people of Kenya are facing.
When a family is hungry, the last thing they're thinking is looking 10 years down the line at what education might do for their child. They can't afford to buy that pencil. They can't afford to buy that book or that uniform. And if a child is not equipped in school, a child can't go. When I was in a classroom visiting the school, I was fortunate to be invited to see an essay by one of the 5th grade girls. And when I read that essay, it was so incredibly articulate that I told the teacher this could very well have come from a United States college student. And yet the teacher followed that with, "She won't be in school next year." And innocently I asked, "Why, is she moving?" And the teacher said no. Her parents could not afford the $10 to supply her with a uniform top that was required by the school. And so they elected to keep her home so she could sweep the house, which, mind you, was a dirt floor, and weed the shamba, which is a farm.
What I admire with Matanya's Hope is that, when they come, they don't interfere with the culture, because, that's a complex thing if you came and begin to interfere with the culture. But what they do, they come and look for the real need, and they try to help the need. Like, children are not going to school, they are not clothed, they are not. They don't have books for their school. They don't have food. So they come in there and try to do the necessary thing, but leaving away the issue of the culture, because that's what they found, and people are enjoying it.
Matanya's Hope started with a vision of helping all children in Kenya. So right now we have 215 children sponsored and in school, but we also have many, many families who we've helped through our various programs. In 2011, for example, the cost of sponsorship is $75 a month. And what a sponsor and a child gets for that $75 a month is the attendance in boarding school, uniforms, shoes, school supplies, and travel to and from school during holiday time. Can you imagine sending a child to boarding school in the USA or in Europe for $75 a month? It really is incredible. The child gets food and supplies, they get academic support, they get spiritual support, emotional support, and they get to live somewhere safe without having to do all these chores, all for $75 a month. While a sponsored child is in school, we do expect that the child performs very well academically. And we follow a child's report forms. We do go and interview the children on an annual basis. We also meet with the child's teachers as well as with their headmasters, that would be principals and deputy headmasters. We do that several times during the year. A sponsored child does have an obligation to Matanya's Hope and to their country once they have graduated from school. That is not to pay us back, but it is to continue the cycle of giving, and we ask that each sponsored child sponsors at least one more child in need throughout their lifetime.
Now they can see there is hope. They are doing a lot of practice, they are studying, and even their marks, we can see their marks are improving.
Matanya's Hope recently started a porridge program, and the results have been amazing. Children who attend Matanya Primary School, where we started this program, used to have maybe a 50% attendance rate. Because of the porridge program, which literally means giving children 1 cup of porridge a day, attendance has risen to almost 100%. It has been so profound. The cost of the porridge program is $900 a year, and individuals, families, and corporations have all generously donated to help this program continue. We'd like to take the program at Matanya Primary School and bring this into other schools. One of the most important ways that Matanya's Hope supports the Kenyan society outside of academic sponsorships is through the provision of rainwater storage tanks. We are so used to turning on a faucet here, throwing a glass underneath it, and getting a delightful glass of refreshing water. Unfortunately, the people in Kenya are used to carrying 44 to 88 pounds of dirty river water suspended from their heads for miles until they get home. During the times of drought, Kenyans living in rural Kenya are forced to drink dirty waters which first come from the rivers, but unfortunately as the drought progresses, those rivers run bone dry. And then Kenyans are forced to look for any water available. On an occasion, they might find a stagnant pool of water, not very deep, very smelly, often with a film of algae and other bacteria growing on it. But when they have had no water for a long period of time, they will get on their knees and drink the water from these stagnant pools. They do get very, very sick. I've had parents telling me about their children who have had diarrhea. They've been vomiting at the same time from ingesting this water. They've had to rush their children to the hospitals, and it's been a real hardship. What a rainwater storage tank does is it provides clean drinking water for a family, sometimes for the first time. That rainwater is collected from the rooftop of a home. So a home must have an iron sheet roof and a gutter. Once it rains, that water comes down from the iron sheet roof. It's collected in the gutter, which is then aimed towards the rainwater storage tank. The water goes from the gutter into the tank, passing through a sieve, which sifts out the debris, and clean water then collects in the tank. Matanya's Hope has a livestock program which we started after recognizing that so many Kenyans are hungry. The livestock program helps to support a family by providing milk, meat, eggs, poultry to families in need. What happens through this program is that a family not only gets to eat, but they can sell the offspring from these animals and for the first time create some kind of an economic support for their family unit. Before donating animals, we visit the family's homestead and we make sure that that family can support an animal. And if so, what kind of an animal can a family support? For instance, supporting chickens is much less expensive than supporting a cow. Matanya's Hope has a program called the Forest of Hope, which plants trees in arid areas, thus staving off the effects of deforestation. We started the program of the Forest of Hope in order to educate the children so that they understand that by taking a tree, it creates a lot of harm in the environment. By replanting that tree, they're retaining soils, thus preventing soil erosion. They're also helping the tree to retain water in the soil so that the effects of drought aren't as prominent in the areas. At the same time, the children are being educated in agriculture, horticulture, geology, and what's really incredible is each child in Matanya Primary School is getting their own tree to plant. So imagine 250 children are getting their own trees. These trees will stay with the children as they're going through primary school, and therefore the child will have a relationship with that tree. Matanya's Hope runs mission trips every year, and we encourage sponsors to go along. We do so many wonderful things, including visiting children that are sponsored, as well as visiting children and interviewing them for sponsorships. We get to build houses for the impoverished. We supply and deliver rainwater storage tanks. We deliver livestock. We do so many wonderful things that help to embrace the communities and help them move ahead. But as an added perk, we also go on safaris. And in that, you get to see lions and wildebeest, gazelle, cheetah, impala, all sorts of wonderful animals, monkeys, right up close, sometimes even hopping onto your car. It's a great experience. Can you imagine, in such a short time, since 2005, what we've been able to do thanks to our sponsors and donors to help the families in Kenya?
I'm Christine Nyawira. I'm in Morogoro Girls High School, and thank you very much for your support. And I would like to be a judge when I grow up, when I finish my school. I'm very happy because of you.
Just want to say thank you because you have saved a lot. Because if it weren't for you, we wouldn't have gotten the water we will get from this tank, and these children will be crying. Thank you a lot.
You are the voice, we are the children. We stand before you singing hope, so thanks for giving. Let's join hands together until our work is done. Let's make the world a better place for you and me. Thank you.